And as promised, we are joined right now by a defensive tackle for the Houston Texans. He is in his 8th season overall, but his first with the Texans. He was the 12th pick overall by the Saints in 2016 out of Louisville. On the season, 22 tackles, 5 for loss. He's got 4 sacks this year. The Texans, great story. They're 5-4. They've won 3 of their last 4. They're hosting Arizona on Sunday. We are joined right now by Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon, really good to have you on, man. How are you?
I am good, man. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Well, it's great to have you on. Really appreciate you doing it. So listen, I'm not going to lie. I think personally there's so much to like about your team and the year you're all having right now. Your road win at Cincinnati, to me, was one of the most impressive wins of the entire season league-wide. Can you take a look back for a minute? What was your biggest takeaway from that win and in beating Joe Burrow and the Bengals?
Yeah, I just think just the ability of our team to be able to handle themselves in any moment. You know, there was a time where, we were able to get a bit of a lead and, obviously weren't able to maintain that as well as we'd like. Since he's a good team, playoff team, team that, a few years ago was in the Super Bowl. So they were able to battle back and make some plays to put themselves in position to be able to capture that game. And then, for us, just being a mix of, a lot of young, talented guys and then a mix of some good veterans, for us to be able to go into that hostile environment and be able to not bat an eye no matter what happened and to be able to compose ourselves and be able to come up with the plays necessary each and every time to be able to seal that victory on the road. That's big for a young team going forward.
Sheldon, you yourself had a monster game, which I want to get to in a minute. But that point you just made about how, we fell behind or we had some moments, but then we showed composure. I want to ask you about CJ Stroud because I obviously, like everybody else, I could not be more impressed with this guy and the way he plays. But what blows me away about him, in that game, he had 3 turnovers, yet when it mattered most, he was cold-blooded in leading that team down the field for that game-winning drive in the final 2 minutes. How many young quarterbacks have you been around that can just put those mistakes behind them, forget they even happened, and then go and win a game of that magnitude?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it on the head. Saying he's cold blooded. That's literally what I always describe him as a player. His mindset, the way he approaches each and everything he has to do throughout the week in order to get ready, and then on Sundays when he's out there in the field, like you said. To have those turnovers, for a young guy in a hostile environment. Big time pressure situation against a playoff team, that can rattle a lot of people, but for him, he does a great job of living in the moment, living in each and every play and understanding what's asked of him to do for that down or that situation. And, 9 times out of 10, he's going to go out and execute and do exactly what you need him to do. So, and I've noticed that from him from day one. He's always been a guy who's asked the right questions and wanted to know things and sought knowledge and always wanted to find ways to improve himself, never hanging on the fact that he's drafted to be the franchise quarterback and, maybe he has time to develop. No, for him, it's about proving who he is right now and then continuing that ascension into, the just star, quarterback that he is now and is going to continue to be.
Sheldon Rankins joining us. You answered my question. I was going to ask you, like when you first saw him, you've been around a while now. You've seen everything. I interviewed him on Radio Row at the Super Bowl. I mean, clearly watching him in college, you knew there was something there, right? That's a really talented guy. But when I sat with him, just the way this guy shows up, even for something like that, to your point, he is where his feet are. Like he's in the moment. This guy's presence and confidence was just jumping right off the charts. But I'm just a media guy. I'm curious, when he steps into a locker room, when you first met him, did you get that vibe from him or did you need to see it from him on the field first? Like, what was your first impression of the guy?
Yeah, no, he has an aura of confidence with him wherever he goes. And it's not cockiness. It's not arrogance. It's not, him, feeling himself or anything like that. He he walks in a room and understands and knows he can get the job done and knows he can get the job done at a high level. But he also wants to bring everybody with him. It's not just about him. It's about the 10 guys around him. It's about, his offensive line. It's about his running backs. It's about his receivers and tight ends. It's about the defense. It's about special teams. I mean, he's always looking to build those relationships. And I think that goes a long way. He's not just playing quarterback from, the hours from when he's in the building and then when he leaves, he's doing other things. Like, no, he's all about being the quarterback, the leader of this team from, Sunday through Sunday, whether it's hanging out with guys outside of the building or, extra film study or just kind of, just hanging out in the locker room, shooting basketball in the locker room or different things like that. Like, he makes himself a part of everything we're doing here, not putting himself above everything, which could be easy for a young guy in a situation like this where he's playing as well as he is. I mean, for a young guy, a rookie quarterback, 9 games in to be mentioned, in MVP discussions and different things like that, that could get to a guy's head. But for him, he's very humble. He carries himself with the confidence and with the purpose to lead men. And he goes about it the right way. And it's special to be able to watch it, special to be able to experience it, and to know that he's truly only going to get better and to know that he truly wants to get better. Like, he's not hanging on the fact that, his first 9 games he's played well. Like, for him, he's still seeking out ways to improve and do everything he can to put this team on his back and put us in positions to be successful.
My man, that's incredible praise coming from somebody like you who's been in the league as long as you have, and all true. I mean, such high praise. Sheldon Rankins joining us. Back to your game, you had a monster game. You had a career-high 3 sacks, and you forced a fumble. That's a day now, big dude. When was the last time you had a 3-sack game? Ever?
Yeah, so it's high school. My junior year, we played Stockbridge High School. I had 8 tackles and 3 sacks. I remember that like it was, you never forget games like that. So, to be able to, I missed a few games with injury, but to be able to come back and, it took me a few drives to kind of shake the rust off. But once I found the rhythm, once I got back out there and was, getting back into the swing of things, like, it felt good to be able to get back and have an impact like that and make plays for this team. And we always talk about it, being able to make those plays to get the ball back to CJ and allow him to do what he does.
Listen, you had options in the offseason as a free agent. I mean, did you have some sort of crystal ball? Did you see this team having the kind of season that it's having? Why did you sign with the Texans?
Yeah, no, I can honestly say I didn't. I couldn't have, in my wildest dreams, I couldn't have drawn it as perfect as it's been. But, understanding, D'Amico and, I knew some guys who knew him and had played for him and they spoke so highly of him. And, there were a couple times and, I think D'Amico said it before where he had tried to trade for me when I was, in other places, to get me to San Fran. So, it was an opportunity to finally get that done and, being able to play in this system again. I love playing in this defensive system and, it allows my abilities to be able to shine through and, to be able to, to really play my best ball. And then, I felt like it just really gave me an opportunity to prove the guy that I still am. There was a, point in my career where, I felt like I was truly ascending into being one of those upper tier players. And then I, kind of got met with, just back-to-back injuries, just some unfortunate things that kind of, slowed progress. But to be able to have the opportunity to continue to show the league that I am a 3-down disruptive player, no matter the situation, I relish that opportunity. And then, add in the fact that, once I sign and, we draft CJ, trade back up, get Will and, Tank Dell and all those, like, I mean, it really all came together, to form the perfect storm. And, I'm just blessed to be, to have this opportunity to be able to impact this organization in any way that I can.
We've been talking about this. In fact, I've got a side hustle to the side hustle called the Reinvention Project. That thing you just said, I wanted to prove that I was still that guy. So now that you've hit that second mountain, you're scaling the second mountain, you're proving that you are that guy. I'm curious, did you have to prove it to yourself? And since you are proving it, how does that feel? How gratifying is that?
Yeah, I think at first that's kind of where it starts. Once you go through some traumatic things, you go through some unfortunate situations. Your confidence is the first thing to go, right? You still go out there and train. You still go out there and do things throughout the off season to put yourself in the best position to be able to make plays. But the confidence aspect, the mental aspect that goes along with it, that's a whole different thing that has to be trained. So, being able to come into this situation and understanding, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to make of it, and to be able to go out and be able to execute as well as I feel like I have been as of late, and to continue to be able to do that. Yeah, it's big improving in myself. I think because, as a young guy, I think you worry so much about outside perception. You worry so much about, what other people think. That stuff gets in your head. But I think, the longer I've played, I think it's been more about, being able to look myself in the mirror and be truly happy with the play that I put on tape, and I think, last week was a great demonstration of being able to, allow everything that I truly work on and truly, bust my ass for and really die for out there, to allow it to really culminate in what was an amazing game. And I just look forward to being able to build on that and look forward to being able to, not prove anybody wrong, but prove myself right each and every time I step out there.
Such good insight. Hey, let me finally ask you this. I appreciate the time so much. It's such a great conversation. Even at the highest level, you just said it, guys lose their confidence. Once you lost your confidence, how did you get it back? What was your process? What did you do to get that mojo back?
Yeah, it's tough. I think, it's a lot of trial and error, at times because, as professional athletes, especially, in this profession, football, alpha men, that's how you feel, tough guys, quote unquote, that's the stigma around, football players. So it's hard to openly express the fact that you've lost confidence, or it's hard to express the fact that you may not think you can do it as well as you used to, to do it at one point in time anymore. So, having those internal conversations, having those, talks with myself and, being able to truly just, really dive into my craft, whether it's, was watching tape on things I used to do, whether it was, changing up the way I trained or changing up my approach and the way I did certain moves or certain things to be able to, have better success with them now, going through the whole reinvention process of my game. And, I think, it took me a while to get there to feel like, everything is kind of, going the way that I wanted it to go. But I think, now I've kind of found a sweet spot of just kind of fine tuning and doing everything I feel like is needed for me to go out there and be successful, down in, down out, and truly have an impact with this defense.
In other words, man, the way out is straight through. The way out is straight through. You did the work, man. You did the hard work on yourself and your craft in the game. Sheldon Rankins joining us. I can't say how much I respect that, how much I appreciate that. I love that conversation, dude. I got so much out of that. So thank you very much for sharing and the insight, man, and being candid and being real. You're right. You don't really get that from guys because it's not part of the culture, man. You're not supposed to let people know how you feel, especially if you're struggling. That's my 2 cents worth. Sheldon, appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell to be the first to know when we do upload a new video.